But first, let's go to Victoria Gatenby here in Doha, that's Qatar's capital. Victoria, earlier we were speaking, there were evacuations at Qatar's Ras Laffan LNG installations. That's after the Iranian threats, of course. What is the latest on that now?
Yeah, so in the last 30 minutes or so, we've had a statement from Qatar Energy to say that its Ras Laffan industrial complex has been targeted with missiles. That has caused widespread fires, which they're now having to deal with. And there has been, what it confirms, is extensive damage to that facility. It says its emergency teams were on site immediately. There have been no reports of any injuries and that all workers were safe. Now, that facility hours ago was evacuated because Iran had said that it would target that facility and formal facilities across the GCC region in response to targeted attacks on its gas field. So this is a major development here in Qatar. That plant up in the northeast of the country it's the largest LNG production facility in the world. Qatar itself produces 20% of global LNG production. So this is what Qatar's wealth is built on, and it's now saying that that facility has been extensively damaged by Iranian missiles. We've had a statement in the last few minutes from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It expresses its strong condemnation and denunciation of what it calls the brutal Iranian targeting of Ras Laffan Industrial City, which it says has caused fires that resulted in severe damage to that facility. And it goes on to say that Qatar has done its very best to stay out of this war, but the Iranian side, it says, continues its escalatory policies that push the region towards the abyss and plunge countries that are not parties to this crisis into the circle of conflict. So a very serious development here. Obviously, the Iranians put a statement out hours ago that it would also be targeting other facilities in the UAE and also in Saudi Arabia, and those were the Al Hassan gas field in the UAE and the Al Jubail petrochemicals complex in Saudi Arabia and the Samref refinery also in that country.
And Victoria, you know, you're talking about an attack here in Qatar, but there's also been loud explosions in the Saudi capital. That as regional foreign ministers are due to hold an emergency meeting in Riyadh.
Yeah, that's right. There have been attacks across the GCC today. We've actually just had a raised security alert, threat alert here in Doha. We haven't heard any missiles being intercepted yet, but the threat level here has been raised. Now, in Saudi Arabia, a couple of hours ago, they heard several loud explosions in the capital, Riyadh. Saudi's Ministry of Defense later said that that was them intercepting 4 ballistic missiles that the Iranians had targeted in the Riyadh city's area. Now, debris from those interceptions fell across the Riyadh area, they say, but at the moment there is no damage to buildings that has been reported and no civilian injuries as a result of those missiles being intercepted. But as you say, it comes as Saudi was hosting Arab leaders from these Gulf countries to try and talk about a coordinated security policy. You would imagine now the focus of those discussions will very much be on the threats that they are facing from the Iranians, with Ras Laffan having been targeted and dealing with the aftermath of those attacks.
All right, thanks very much. That's the latest there from Victoria Gatenby in Qatar.